come in tight here and get a little cozy. You can filter it in the middle here. Don't be afraid to filter it up in these aisles here on the other side of the boards. Did everyone, Scott? Okay. All right, so what you're in right now is a former lube shop. So you would think that when we took over this space, we would say, oh, perfect. We were going to turn this into our service area because we have the pits down below, the ability to service vehicles. What we wanted to do is we wanted to convert this into a kind of a neat space where we kind of pay homage to what it was, and then turn this into a retail space rather than just use it for what it was. And it just works out better too that we have more kind of real estate in the other building next door, which you'll see. So it's actually easier to work on the cars and build the vehicles there. But we thought this would be a neat way to basically not turn our back on a facility like this. We very easily could have said, nah, we don't want that building because we're not going to use it for what it was intended to do. So you'll see what we try to do is in the interest of being sustainable and reusing a lot of things. Like the shelving that you see here is reclaimed wood from tobacco barns in Tennessee and Kentucky. You'll see that throughout the Moby factory as well. So likewise with this whole building, we wanted to take it and still use it and make it kind of a neat space. You can imagine if you've ever been on this side of a lube shop, what it typically looks like inside. So a lot of work was done here to clean this up, do all the painting, and instead of filling off the space here where the pits were, so this area here, and then the other side there, again, we wanted to kind of maintain that feel so that when you walk in here, you can tell what it was. We left the hoses hanging there for the oil, and instead of just blocking these off, what I thought would be a neat idea was let's turn this into artwork basically and still show that, hey, at one time this was the area where the mechanics would be underneath. So we've got a local artist that designed the kind of the two middle pieces on either side, using inspiration from the aerial cruiser on this side, which is up here on the bike. So that's the motorized version of the bicycle that we have. And then you'll get to see the electric version, which is in the Moby factory right now. She also used the Racer logo, which is the motorcycle. You'll see that in the Micro factory, and the Rally Fighter logo to do that piece. And then what I did was I brought in some designs from our community members here to display there, where to kind of show the capability of the community that we have. And what the idea is here is for this space, you can see there's a lot of local motors branded things, t-shirts, hats, things like that. Other products that we feel fit that lifestyle of being a maker and a vehicle innovator. So you'll see things either like gear for vehicles, apparel, gear for the home, so like limited edition prints like you see on the layout here on the pits, things for your garage, that whole lifestyle thing, so you can kind of encompass yourself in vehicle innovation. And the ultimate goal of this is to not just for us as local motors to seek out cool products that people are making out there, but for our community members that have really unique talents and a lot of capability to kind of elect and even design and manufacture their own components, or like a tool maybe that they can't find to work on their bicycle. Let's say they make a tool to work for a bicycle like that and many others, and then what we can do is we can offer that in a shop like this for sale. They get a little bit of credit, a lot of credit for it, and then also a little bit of the profit sharing, and then we get a little bit of that as well. And we always will denote that as coming from a community member. So that's ideally what I want this shop to look like. I want it to look more like cool, innovative products that have been brought in by community members, more than just t-shirts that have local motors branding on them and things like that. So to start off right now, it's kind of more heavy on the local motors branded products and things like the Morris Valley chairs here. This gentleman is out on the East Coast, and he gets decommissioned signs and transforms them into the seats and the tables that you see here, and they're truly one-off because he never makes them the same way. The street signs are obviously pretty individual. So what we'll do now is we'll continue over onto the Moby factory. So again, you'll get to see a little bit more of the retail and food and beverage. Actually, before we go, so this here was left, and what I want to do with this here, if you come back to the micro factory here, in the near future, we'll take these hoses down. But what I would like to do is, you'll see, and I'll talk about it in the Moby, we're starting basically our own line of coffee. So as a maker and an innovator, you can come to the Moby factory, you can come to the shop here, hang out, have something to eat, some light food, some coffee, while you're watching your bike be assembled, while you're taking a break from assembling your own bicycle with our team. Like Scott was in the door there, you might be working along with Scott to build your Rally Fighter, build your Racer, work on a labs project, whatever it might be. So what we'll do is I would like to, since we kind of themed the coffee as different weights, like motor oil, 30 weight, 40 weight, 50 weight oil. So it'd be cool to come in here one day and the barista pulls the thing down and fills your coffee just like they would have been filling your engine up with oil. So let's head over there. We'll take a look. This is an 8 by 40 by 9.5 foot tall. So this is a high cube container, shipping container that we purchased. It's called a one tripper because it only made one trip on a boat. It came back, so we, it doesn't have all the rust and the dents and stuff that you see on a lot of these. The floor is all still pretty pristine wood. So we've got it split up to down on the south end here. This is where you would be doing service and assembly again of things like the bicycle and the motorcycle. That set of tools that we have in there, that's the exact same set of tools that we have in a full-scale microfactory. So you see what we'll be able to do out of this space. Eventually we'll have MakerBox again, drill presses, and things like that in this space. We've got our retail in here, and it's going to be split up into different teams between the racer, the rally fighter, the skate team. You see the skateboards that we have. And then on the other end, you have the food and beverage. So everyone just kind of cycle through this way, and kind of spit back out on the other side, and I'll talk a little bit more about this.
So as you guys are following in here, as Mike said, this half of the building here is going to be dedicated to production, whether it be rally fighter, cruiser, or racer. And then on the opposite side of this office wall is going to be our maker space. So there we'll have our water jet, 3D printer, community space for community members to come in and work on projects. So if you haven't seen it before, first this is the rally fighter. This is the world's first ghost-rated automobile. From art and sketch, the first full working prototype, the Rally Fighter was born in 18 months' time at a total cost of $3 million. Put that into perspective, the door handle on the Chevy Volt was a $10 billion project. So it's a much smaller scale, which allows us to produce a much smaller batch of vehicles at a much faster rate. So basically there are 65 Rally Fighters on the road right now, building about 2 to 3 a month. Customer comes into our facility and helps assemble their Rally Fighter in 6 days. So the orange one here you see is our sales car, and then on the far side that's actually a customer that lives here in Vegas that we're doing some service work on. So basically what we've accomplished with the Rally Fighter is it's a street legal desert race car that you can drive every day if you want, or you can go out to the dunes of the desert on the weekend and have some fun. Power windows, power locks, navigation, air conditioning, heat is all standard. Powered by GM LS3 crank motor that's emissions compliant, and it's got 20 inches of wheel travel in the back, 18 inches in the front.
Is that an aux port?
What's that?
Is that an aux port?
Sorry.
Aux port.
No, no. So basically it's just a fun toy to bomb around the desert. It does fit 2 sets of golf clubs in the trunk, and it does have 2 jump seats in the back for insurance and baby. Customer ends up doing anywhere between 65 and 75% of the build in that 6 days, and then we do all the fitment after that. So hanging doors, all the boring electrical. The customer's really there for all the fun, mating the chassis together. Chassis is already done. Just too much liability there to have the customer. When it comes down to brass tacks, we want to make innovative vehicles, produce them in an environment that makes sense for that vehicle. So that's why the Rally Fighter was installed for us. I mean, it's not exactly your daily driver, but that's where it makes sense. Now, if we were to do like a smaller commuter car or an EV vehicle, that might check it later. So it's all about meeting the needs of the environment in which the vehicle is. How do you reward them? It's either they can take a cash prize for their design, or they can based on the Yeah, body, chassis, glass, most of the suspension stuff. Yeah, that's all different. But everything that's in here, replace brakes, all that stuff. There's no point in re-engineering. Basically, it's GM powertrain, 4 brakes.